So prepare yourself for a really cool technique. I just learned it and I can't stop making cards using this technique. So much fun. So for this particular card, I'm going to use this stamp. This is the Hey There Buds stamp. And I'm going to just ink it up with my markers. Now the markers I'm using are Strawberry Slush and Calypso Coral, and this one is Coastal Cabana, Garden Green, and this one is Hello Honey. So nice, bright, springy colors. So I'm going to start with my, let's see, we're going to start with the Calypso Coral. And I'm going to just color direct onto my stamp. Next, I'm using my Strawberry Slush. Now my Coastal Cabana. My Hello Honey. My last color that I'm putting on here is the Garden Green. So I've decided I wanted to add a couple more colors, so I'm going to add Tangelo Twist and some Melon Mambo. So the Tangelo Twist I'm just going to put on top where I put some Calypso Coral. This will give it a really nice two-tone look. And I'm going to add a bit of Tempting Turquoise on top of the blue. And I think for the green I'll add a little bit of Always Artichoke. So this ink is dried, so I'm going to moisten it with my breath by huffing on it. And I should point out I have not inked up the sentiment, the Hey There. So I'm just going to stamp it down, hold it for a second, and it's always so much fun when you lift off your stamp to see what you have created. Oh, so pretty. I want to draw a box around this flower with some of the flower outside of the box line. So to do that, I'm just going to put it on my graph sheet from Stampin' Up! And draw a line. This is great because I can line up my ruler and make sure everything's straight. And you want to draw a very, very faint pencil line. So what I've done is I've marked 4 squares on each side, and that's how I'm lining up my pencil lines. Okay, so there I go. Now this is where the technique comes in. You're going to take the basic black marker. I'm going to use my bold tip, which is, you can see where the thicker line is on the marker as opposed to the thin line, which means that that's our fine point journal tip. So we want the bold tip of our black marker, and we're just going to go along those lines. And it's important to use the marker more on the side as opposed to straight down, because you'll ruin the tip of your marker. So I'm going to do this all the way around, being careful not to get ink on my flowers. These tiny little bits, if they're too small, then you could use the journal point of the pen. Okay. Now the next step is to take your pen and go around the inside of this box around your flowers. Now, just a little heads up. This may seem like, oh my gosh, Tina, this is time consuming. It's really not. It goes really quick, and I have to say it's incredibly relaxing to do this. Put some music on when you're making your cards. The whole point is to sit and relax and enjoy, and this is something so much fun. I'm sure you're gonna enjoy it. So I'm gonna just get cracking and fill in the area with my marker, and I kind of go along as I'm outlining the flower, filling in those little areas. And I'm just going in little tiny circles. You don't have to press hard with our markers. Very, very soft. And turn your paper around as you work too. It's a really good tip. So I'm just blocking off tiny little areas as I go. See, I'm almost done. It's not taking any time at all. Now I'm going to finish the bottom half. The next step is erasing the pencil lines. So you can leave your project like that, or you can add some squiggly lines with your marker. And I think that looks really good, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just kind of frames your picture a little bit. Looking very good. So now I'm just building my card. And I'm going to put some dimensionals on this. Oops. Didn't mean for that extra one to go there. That's okay. And then throw those backings all across your hobby room. And I'm going to set that down on here. Now I'm going to take my 2-way glue pen, and in the white spots I'm going to add some dazzling diamond glitter. So let me show you some other samples of this technique. This is using the Choose Happiness stamp set, and it's an outline stamp set, so I colored everything in. And I used my aqua painters with the inks, and when you're doing that you want to color first before you fill in with your black, otherwise the water will pull the black in and it will bleed into your image. This card is one of my favorites. It was made using the new Lovely Amazing You, which you can find through my online store. It's a new release. So this card was made pretty much the same way that I did this one, which was using solid images, only I used my ink pads instead of my markers. And then I embossed the expression on top using Whisper White embossing powder. So here's a very sparkly one. This one was using Flower Shop and the Top Note die. Now to do this one, I took my Top Note die with some computer paper, ran this through my Bake Shot so that I'd have the inside image, and then I simply placed it onto my card and I drew a line around the image. So imagine the possibilities. You could do this with hearts and circles and ovals and all kinds. So I stamped my images in the StazOn, I colored them in, I did my block fill, I sponged around the edges, and then what I did is I covered the whole thing with Versamark ink, and then I sprinkled on iridescent ice. So that made it very, very sparkly. Here's another one that I did. Now this was a bit of an experiment because I wanted to try using a different color for the back. I used Marina Mist marker, and I actually had to go over it 3 times because otherwise you could see all the marks when you were shading. And for the birds stamp set, and then again the Lovely Amazing You and a little clothes peg bow. So fun. And the last card I'm going to show you is probably one of my favorites. It's using our Swallowtail stamp, and I just hand wrote an expression, live your dreams, what if I fall, but oh my darling, what if I fly, which I thought was really appropriate for this particular stamp. And then once I colored it in, I used my dazzling diamonds just to really make it pop. So as you can tell, I really am addicted to this technique. I can't stop playing with it. It is really, really fun. So I hope you give it a try. I am sure you are going to come up with a ton of different ways of using this technique and just really, really enjoy it as well. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Happy stamping.